Hello, my name is Erica Johnson, and I want to talk to you today about clinical trials. Uh, it's a snowy day across the United States, and it's also the beginning of 2018. And this is a time of year where a lot of people want to make changes or they've made resolutions to really pursue their career or make a career change. And so I want to take this opportunity to talk to you a little bit about clinical trials and how it might be an option for you. I have a very unique background. I was able to work in bench research, actually doing various kinds of experiments, um, both in mostly in biology, um, and I did that in high school and in summer internships and also in college for my work study jobs. But I was pursuing a degree in clinical psychology, so I got really into academic research and was able to, when I graduated from college, that was the career that I pursued, working in academic research. I was able to work at Mount Sinai, looking at addiction and precursors to addiction in minorities. I was able to work at Yale for a while, looking at precursors to homelessness, looking at the link between mental illness, homelessness, and and the ability to find good fit work models. And so that was really interesting work and a really great opportunity. But I also was given a chance to pursue a career in clinical research, and that was my passion. The thing that anybody in clinical research will tell you is that it's something that you either absolutely love or you absolutely don't like it. And so I absolutely loved it. But I bring a unique perspective to the table because I did come from bench research and academic research and then into clinical research, and I have gained so much from working in all three of those areas, and I think it's made me a better clinical researcher. Um, I want to let you know that it is a really wonderful field to work in. Number one, because you're helping identify new treatments. Um, and you're working with people in certain situations where this is their last hope to better the quality of their life. Um, you're on the cutting edge of technology, medical research, but you're also um, and giving a form of compassionate care. One of the things you'll notice if you're already in the medical field, if you're a medical assistant or a or a nurse or a nursing assistant, the major difference that you'll immediately note in clinical research is that once you get a patient, you get to see them more often, you get to talk to them more often, you get to know them more likely more than you do in your regular clinic practices. And so you're really getting to make an impact, more so than just a momentary impact, but a more long-term impact in the lives of people and in the lives of and in medicine itself. So that is one of the big benefits of it. And you really want to have a career that speaks to what you're good at, the parts of your personality that are a good fit. And if you're a highly organized person, if you're really good at time management, clinical trials is definitely something that you should consider because it takes being very organized, being very time oriented, attention to detail. If you're the kind of person who is adamant about rules and following rules and documenting rules, if that's who you are, then this is a perfect career for you. I want to tell you that there's a lot of places you can start. I started out, and when I came into clinical research, I started out as a clinical research coordinator on the site level. Um, there's all kinds of combinations out there. You will find that there are organizations where you can come in and just do data entry and it gives you exposure to the terms, to the model of clinical trials. But there are also sites where, as the coordinator, you actually get to see the patients and do the data and, kind of maintain the day-to-day task of the trial. So I started out at as a coordinator on that level, and eventually was a site manager, and eventually decided to go into monitoring, which is working for the pharmaceutical company or the CRO, and actually reviewing the data for its quality, because ultimately this data gets submitted to the FDA and it's key to the approval of the drug by the FDA. So, what I want to leave you with in this message today is that there are so many opportunities in clinical research. If you're a medical assistant, if you're going to school to be a medical assistant, um, you're at a perfect starting point. You can have a very fulfilling career in clinical trials. You do need some basic training to be a clinical research coordinator. You do need to become familiar with GCP, the FDA regulations, standard operating procedures for running trials. But you, as someone who's going to school or is a medical assistant, you have the basic medical knowledge. You just need to find the discipline, the area that you're interested in working in, and learn more about that area and the key diseases of that area, so that that'll give you even more understanding. But I want you to understand that starting at that level can grow into so much more. There's so many opportunities. You can work at the site level. You can work, there are actually networks of clinical research sites. You can work at the network level. You can actually branch out as you grow in your career and work for the pharmaceutical companies themselves, or work for the clinical research organizations, which are the organizations that are hired by pharmaceutical companies to oversee the running of the clinical trial. There's, within those two situations, there's a multitude of positions that you could have. There's recruitment. There are people who just do recruitment all day long. They identify subjects, they develop recruitment materials, advertising materials. There are people who just deal with safety. There's safety monitors. There are people who man safety hotlines and fax lines, and get into the process of reporting adverse events and things like that. There's data entry. There's all levels of data entry. There's data entry on the site level. Then there's data query management on the sponsor level, or the pharmaceutical side, where you actually go into the systems and review what the site has entered and issue queries. There's monitoring, which is going out, reviewing the source against the electronic data capture systems, and making sure that the subject, monitoring the subject's safety. You're making sure that regulations are being met. The monitor does a lot, but on that level, there's project managers who don't go to the site, but they oversee the projects. I mean, you could literally have a flourishing career. Just coming in, you could start out as a medical assistant who pursues clinical trials, and you could grow into a career that you travel a lot, that you have a lot of responsibility and begin to help develop protocols. I mean, that's what's so enriching about this career, is that you can start at one place and very quickly move. It's a career where advancement, it doesn't take years and years and years. If you're really good, if you're really organized, if you're focused, if you have your goals in mind, you can quickly move to the next level in your career. And that's important. You have families, you have goals, you have financial goals, you have things that you want to do in your life. And so I want to encourage you, if you're one of those people who are considering a career change, certainly if you're a nurse, if you're an RN, absolutely, this should be a pretty easy transition for you. It's really just basically learning, again, just like the MA, um, learning GCP, learning FDA regulations and how to run the study and things like that. If you're graduating from college this year and you have a BS, a bachelor's in science, certainly don't hesitate. You know, I came from a non-clinical background. I had some bench experience, but my degree was in something different, and I still managed to break through and get into the clinical research field. There's lots of opportunities if you have a bachelor's in science. If you are like me and you have that BA in psychology, give it a shot. There's plenty of trials out there that deal with questionnaires and more sociological things in addition to the medicine itself. And so you can be very helpful on a trial. So, what I want you to do is, if you want to make this transition, think outside of the box. Look it up, research it. Depending on where you are, like I said, if you're in high school or if you're still in college, you have time to get internships or summer jobs so that you can experience it a little bit. If you're an MA or an RN, and you're working someplace where the doctor does clinical trials, you can always kind of do over the shoulder tutoring, kind of finding out what you need to know, what's it like. So I just want to encourage you today to think about clinical trials. There's a lot of changes going on in the world. There's a lot of jobs. You know, you go online and they're saying this job is going to disappear, this job's not going to be there. But one thing that it's pretty obvious is there are always going to be new drugs being tested. There's always going to be the need for pharmaceuticals on some level. So you know, if you're someone who wants to get in on that and, like I said in the beginning, be part of helping people, being on the cutting edge of not only, medicine, but also compassion and bringing forth treatments and things that really help improve the quality of people's lives and prolong their lives. Clinical trials is something that you should consider. So if you have any questions, please leave a comment for me, and I'll reply. And please give a thumbs up. Want to do a couple of more videos to kind of give you some more details about clinical trials. It's a great career. I want to encourage you to look into it and consider it. Again, please give a thumbs up if this was useful. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments and I'll be glad to get back to you. Okay, thanks very much, everyone. Have a great day and stay warm.